Gabby, and today we're going to be doing the second ever episode of Book Nerd's Choice. So I'm just popping in to say hi. I think this might be a little bit choppy because I filmed so many different clips in so many different times, but let's be dragged back to the past and let's talk about the Nerd's Choice that I'm reading this month. So I'll see you later, but I hope you enjoyed. Nothing Happened by Molly Booth. This was a recommendation by Chivalry Limber. I have no clue what that is, but I'm ready. So a quick update. I've decided to do 2 books per month for the Book Nerd's Choice instead of 1 because I've got 33 recommendations and that's more than enough for 2 per month, so we're just gonna start doing that from now on. Therefore, okay. The Naming by Alison Croghan. This is from Sassy Cassidy 5, which is my friend Cassidy. She has a YouTube channel and Twitter, so I'm gonna link it all down below. But she recommended The Naming, which I'm not actually sure what that is, but we're gonna try to find it in the library and I can't wait. Follows a story of a bunch of teenagers with the main character being B, whose parents own this camp. It's Dogberry Camp, I think it's called, and they own this camp, and every year since they were children they went to the camp over the summer, and now they become counselors. And another character is Ben, who's also one of the counselors, and something happened between B and Ben a year ago and they both claim nothing happened, but we know that's like code for something happened, and it's just shenanigans from there. So I was on a holiday in Sicily, Palermo, Sicily, and I read the Nothing Happened book then, so now let me just share some thoughts because I didn't really have time to film clips as I was reading, but I have loads of notes. So I did enjoy it. I gave it 3 out of 5. I thought the story was quite engaging. It was really easy to read, super quick, very nostalgic in a way, and let me tell you why. So this book really feels like it belongs on the younger spectrum of young adult. I was actually thinking like this isn't like, I knew it wasn't middle grade, but somehow it felt like between that middle grade and YA period when it's all kind of very sweet and innocent. The writing was quite juvenile and I thought that the characters acted quite young, so there was quite a wide range of ages, but the main characters are supposed to be like 17, 18, so one is a senior in high school in US and one is a first year student of a university, so I assume it's like 17, 18, I don't know. But I assume that's what it's supposed to be, but they really feel like 14, 15. Their actions are really juvenile. The whole conflict relies on miscommunication, and it was so silly. Honestly, it could have, if they just took 5 seconds to actually say what they feel, this whole thing wouldn't even have happened. The whole story relies on a series of miscommunications. That's why the feeling I got is like, this is what I was like when I was 13, you know, just not willing to talk at all. But they're supposed to be on the like brink of adulthood, going into university and stuff, and some of them already are, but they're acting like they're 13, you know. So I thought this was a good story, but it should have maybe been younger, maybe make it more middle grade, or make it quite clear what kind of young adult this is, and make it so that the characters actually are like 15, because then it makes sense. So a lot of miscommunication, a lot of conflict that was not necessary, just drama for the sake of drama. And one of the biggest pet peeves was the fact that there was like 6 POVs. So we follow B and Ben, who are the main characters, but then we also follow B's sister, Ben's sister, another girl, another guy, and it's just so many perspectives. I think one more, so I think it was more than 6 actually. They just kept coming, and I kept forgetting who was who. They didn't sound unique enough, and sometimes they did this thing where I really dislike, when it's like, so let's say Hannah said this, that's her POV, and then Claudia, this is her POV. So we see there's one scene from like multiple POVs, just so we know we have absolutely no room to think what people think and just know it right in a second. I don't like that. I think it's a bit cheap. I think that's what made it feel a bit more juvenile as well, the multiple POVs and the way the story was told. So like, we need to know what everyone's feeling at the very second they're feeling it, because we can't kind of be introspective or whatever. That just kind of what it felt like. And I know I sound like I'm kind of pooping on it, but honestly I really did enjoy it. I thought it was cute. I rolled my eyes so many times because the conflicts just kept coming to the last second, and I was like, I thought we moved past it. Like, there was a moment 80% of the book that we kind of resolved the main conflict of the story, and then just another conflict just popped up and they got together for 5 seconds and then split up. And I just thought that was so unnecessary. And some characters were really not likable. I mean, I know there was like a villain, but I didn't think it was very well developed. So all of that being said, I did enjoy it. I thought it was a very pleasant like read for a holiday, because I didn't have to engage too many brain cells, even though I kept forgetting who the fuck Vanessa was. But that being said, I did enjoy it. I think if I was 15, 16 when I read it, I would have eaten it up. I would have loved it. So maybe I'm not the demographic for this, because it did feel much younger. So that's why I give it 3 out of 5. I think if you're a younger reader, then you would enjoy this, but if you don't like miscommunication tropes and you don't like just conflict for the sake of conflict, probably not for you. But it is a very cute camp story. It's actually the last book of the month. I still haven't finished the second book that I'm reading, but I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about it. So it's called The Naming, and it follows the story of a young girl who's a slave at just like an estate, and one day she meets a very mysterious stranger who says that she has the gift and he can take her away and set her free. So she goes with him and kind of kicks off from there. This story, it's a very high fantasy. It kind of reminds me of Lord of the Rings. In the type of fantasy it is, it's not really a YA fantasy in that sense. I actually need to check because I'm not sure. It might be still YA, but it just, the way it's written doesn't feel like YA. So far I'm maybe 20-30% in. I am enjoying it. I actually really like it. The way it's written is very like official. I don't know, it's just a different type of language. I hope you know what I mean. So far I don't really know anything. I know there's a magic system that kind of relies on these special people who have the gift, and then they can be like singers and they can weave spells, but there's also evil ones and they can catch them. I know it sounds very not interesting, but it is. I really am enjoying it. This series was kind of hard to track down because it has like, I think it's called The Naming, but then it also is called The Gift, the first book. They have 2 names. I'm confused. Very eloquent synopsis I got for you there. It's hard to talk about. I really don't know what the magic is kind of about. I don't really understand it, but I don't mind. I'm enjoying it. I don't know where the story's going. Hello! I have finished The Naming by Alison Croghan, and I gotta say I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I thought it was a really not so often seen anymore fantasy, like, if that makes sense. It's so much different than all the YA fantasies we're used to. It is very reminiscent of Tolkien and that kind of high fantasy feeling with a lot less angst and a lot more grandiose. I thought that the characters were quite well developed and their relationships had a lot of time to process, and there's not like a romance right now, so it's all very slow burn. I think that's where it's going, but it's just the fact that they had a chance to become friends first. I was surprised by some choices made because they revealed some really big information real quick. A lot of things that I felt should be a bit more maybe worked for, or I thought would take like 2-3 books, it just happens as well. So I don't know how I feel about that, but it was enjoyable and I will definitely continue with the series. I really would recommend it if you're into high fantasy and you are looking for something more unique to what we've been giving recently. This is an older fantasy. I believe it started in 2006. It's that wonderful time of the month where I picked a new book, so let's give this a shake. Choose a book. Book number 1 is I Will Always Write Back by Caitlin Alifrenka. Oh, this is a recommendation from Desi from Pastel Pages, so thank you so much. She has an amazing channel, you guys should check her out. I'm gonna link it down in the description, but I've never read this book and I'm very interested. And now, choice number 2. It is Girl Made of Stars. Oh, I've been meaning to read this. Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. And this is a recommendation from Bargain Books Spaz 1. I'm gonna link their Twitter and all of that. I have been seeing this book around so much. I think it's quite a hard-hitting contemporary, but yeah. So these are our choices for the next month. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, you know what to do, but I'll see you in the next month. Hopefully I will read it on time. Okay, bye guys!